Well, what about the alts? You guys might be wondering. Are the alts coming back? Well, there are a lot of people that are starting to look at the dominance of Bitcoin. And the dominance of Bitcoin is starting to waver a little bit, which means that the momentum could be shifting to the alts in the near future. I mean, people are charting it. You know, for me, I don't put much weight against charting like Bitcoin dominance or altcoin dominance, whatever dominance you want to chart, because it really depends on how much money is flowing in. If you got all these sovereign wealth funds and pension funds that's go throw trillions into Bitcoin, I don't care what the dominance chart shows, Bitcoin dominance will go up, right? It's really that simple. You can't control some of these things. But in a normal environment, I guess you can track it. And every cycle you do see Bitcoin dominance go up and then start coming down. And that's usually when altcoin season starts. Right now, I think it's a little early for altcoin season. But you know what? We have started seeing a lot of these alts turn green. For example, look at Solana. A double-digit day, plus 11%. Solana was just too oversold recently, right? But you could see today, pretty green day. Obviously, it's because we're recovering from our previous bottom, right? We're still lower than we were last week. I get that. But the reason why you do see some alts doing very well, because there are people that are DCAing. A lot of people are not going away. This is not their first cycle. Any of you guys watching, probably not your first cycle. You know how you benefit is by buying low and selling high, right? And we're definitely lower than where we were just a week ago or 2 weeks ago or even a month ago. So right now, things are on sale. It's like if you walked into Walmart or Target or wherever, and now you see things discounted by 25%, 30%, 40%. Your favorite crypto are all discounted right now. It's a great time to be buying. Great time to be buying. Some more ETF stuff, even though in the US, we have Grayscale selling. In Hong Kong, we just opened Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETFs. And some are disappointed by the results, thinking it's lackluster, right? But here's the interesting thing. Look at when the ETFs launched in the US, Bitcoin was near 50,000 and actually dropped immediately down to 38,000. And I totally forgot about it, but now that I think about it, yeah, that did happen, right? I remember when the ETFs came out, people turned really bearish because they were like, well, why isn't Bitcoin going up, right? I thought you said ETFs would go add so much volume and so much buying. Immediately right afterwards, it didn't go up, right? So it's kind of curious that Hong Kong came out their ETFs and the same thing happened. But does that mean the same thing is going to repeat, meaning we will get that rally upwards and start forming a new high heading to $100,000? It's not out of the realm of possibility because we have seen this before. We have seen major corrections, dips before. And what happens after these dips? Bitcoin starts skyrocketing. Here's another example. Okay, back in 2021, Bitcoin was on a tear. Shot up to $42,000 all the way from what, $4,000? It went up 10x. And then what happened? Well, then it took a breather. It went from $40,000 all the way down to $29,000. And then what happened? Bitcoin came back up and started going and formed a new high. Looks very similar, right? We shot up to a new high of 73,000. And yes, we started coming down a little bit. Again, we have seen this story before. This is not new. It happens all the time. I've covered this many times, right? And here's another thing. The Wyckoff distribution, which is basically a way for the big boys to scare out the little people and buy some more, okay? And hey, I guess if you're looking at Bitcoin's pattern, it does look very similar, right? So bottom line is this. We have seen this story before, okay? Do not be scared out of the market. It kind of sucks, yes, but the best way to look at it is this is a buying opportunity. I did stream with you guys. I kind of covered it. Powell said his usual things, and it was actually pretty good. I would say it's a pretty dovish press conference and dovish answers, which he basically states, okay, even though GDP is not so good, we have other economic data that shows that the economy is strong. The labor force is strong. Inflation, even though still elevated, has come down drastically within 1 year. So he's not ruling out rate cuts, and he completely shut down the idea of rate hikes, even though some kept questioning him over and over and over and over again, right? So bottom line is what he said was pretty good. Basically, there's no cut this time around, but doesn't mean that next month there won't be a cut, right? So I'd say overall it was pretty darn good. So I actually don't quite understand why Bitcoin didn't rally more from today's news. I kind of do and kind of don't. Here's the reason why I kind of do. Why Bitcoin didn't go up anymore was because you still have massive selling. Okay, this is the reason. Because unfortunately, Grayscale and others decided to sell. Today, Grayscale itself sold $167 million. Okay, so the Grayscale onslaught continues. And some of the other funds also started selling, right? That's why Bitcoin could not rally up more from here. Unfortunately, I just don't know why Grayscale continues to sell 100 million plus every single day. At some point, you figure it would dry up, right? It would stop. But right now, it just seems like there's endless selling from Grayscale. But one day it will stop. And right now, VanEck estimates only about 175 billion is in countries, ETFs, and companies, right? So 175 billion sounds like a lot, but that's actually quite small. But once this number hits trillions, that's when Cathie Wood will be right, when Bitcoin goes up to $1 million plus, right? But right now, still very, very little, and it shows you how early we are.